Guys, it's Will Potato Strong here. Just wanted to wish you a happy new year. I figured that beginning of the year is a great time to talk about some weight loss tips for you guys. I know a lot of people start, New Year's resolutions, or they start a new lifestyle, or maybe you just want to kickstart your lifestyle and get back on track again and make some tweaks. So I thought I'd give you a few tips. If you're new to the Starch solution or a plant-based lifestyle, you can check out my video getting started on Starch solution. These tips are going to apply to really anybody, but ideally you'd be doing a plant-based diet and more specifically a starch-based diet, and I'll talk about that in a bit. So some of my key weight loss tips are based on the last 2.5 years that I've been doing this, answering questions, the results that I got, and also a lot of the questions that I see on some of the Facebook groups that are out there. One of the key things is when you're starting a new lifestyle or new diet is to be patient. I know that's really hard to do, because a lot of times you've gained weight up and down, or maybe over years or even decades, and then when you finally get excited and you want to lose that weight, you just want that gone quick. I understand that totally, but the impatience is really going to affect your ability to be successful, because a lot of times you'll jump from diet to diet looking for that instant results. And there are some issues that I'll talk about with different diets that will affect the initial result. So that's my key tip, is to be patient, and related to that is the consistency. Doing this, adhering to the lifestyle as strictly as you can, and doing that for a long period of time. Consistency, I noticed that a lot of people will say something like, I'm not really being 100% strict, but I haven't gotten the results. I didn't lose as much weight as I wanted to. I didn't drop my cholesterol as much. And embedded in the question is the answer really is that they haven't been compliant. And little things can make a big difference. So sometimes you won't expect that, if you just put a little bit of oil here and there, or maybe you just hit a yard restaurant or whatever, that those things can cause issues. And so if you're not doing whatever lifestyle you're doing 100%, then you're probably not going to get the results. And so when you transition to a lifestyle such as a plant-based diet, you can go 100% or you can go gradually. And some people think the gradual approach is best because you make small steps. But the problem with that is you won't see the results as quickly either, because you're not doing things. And you keep addictions, you keep some of your habits. If you're still eating pizza or whatever it might be, you still want to eat that stuff. Like the cheese and the pepperoni or whatever. That stuff still stays in your mind. You still want to repeat that type of food. So what I did and I recommend is, it's up to you though, but to go 100% into it, and your taste buds will change. You'll get quicker results. And I have a lot of tasty recipes on my website, potatostrong.com. You can check out. I've also got a recipe guide, which is convenient for like your tablet, or you can even get a PDF version to print out. And I've done a lot of the work up front to sort of look on the internet, find recipes of things that I like, and then tweak them and make them work. And what I did was I liked comfort foods. I liked mashed potatoes, fries, pasta, pizza, tacos, burritos, pancakes, and things like that. So I just had to go and find ways to make them healthier and lower calorie in general, without the oils and the dairy products and the high fat ingredients. So as I said, number one, be patient. Give this a good try. Obviously, if you're doing a starch-based diet or a plant-based diet, I want you to do this long term. But give it, don't get too excited the first week, especially, or the first few days. Give it a good month or more. And related to that is sometimes people will do tests, like they'll get a blood test and check their cholesterol. And I highly advise waiting. In my case, I waited 10 months. When you're losing fat, these fats can circulate in the blood and take time. You got to detox, get rid of some of the stuff that you've got stored up in your body, and you should, I don't know what the exact number would be in my case, but I wanted to make sure I got a really good number. My cholesterol, like in US, it was US units would be 112 milligrams per deciliter. That was after 10 months. So I'm really happy with that, and I wanted to give my body a chance to clean out and get healthy. So don't jump on some of these retests too quickly, because you might get discouraged if you don't see the results that you want. So another thing related to that, and is weighing obsessively on the scale. And even some people like weigh to decimal places. Like, if you gain 0.1 of a pound or something, you might get upset. And I kind of advise, people say don't, just throw away the scale, but I try to be practical about it. I know people want to see results. And so I'm suggesting, once a week. It could be Monday morning after you go to the bathroom, without any clothes or just underwear, weigh yourself at the same time, in the same scenario. And just when you're weighing yourself every day, and it's up some days and down, you're going to have days when you might be retaining water, you might have food still in your stomach, just general ups and downs that happen. So the day-to-day can really drive people crazy. And so, like I say, once a week would be ideal. One of the things that happens when you start a new way of eating is, in the case of like a starch-based or a plant-based diet, you might gain some weight, or you might not lose weight for the first week or two, because there is some glycogen, which is glucose, stored in the muscles and organs, and that, like the liver and stuff like that, and that can be a few pounds. And there's water that goes with that glycogen. So you might be like refilling up your muscles, because if you were eating like a low carb or some other type of diet, you might not have the glycogen stored. So that's going to weigh some time. So you might lose some fat, but you might have gained some water or muscle, like glycogen weight. And so when you just get on the scale, it's going to be very deceptive. It can be very deceptive, and I've seen so many posts where people didn't lose weight, or they gain weight. They might have felt some change in their clothes. So you got to look at some other measurements, weight measure, your waist, or taking, if you can measure your body fat, that would be good too, because the scale itself can be deceiving. And so, take pictures, and just be patient and keep the faith, and sort of, what I did is I put my weight in a spreadsheet, and I could see the general downward trend, because sometimes, it goes up and down on a day-to-day basis, and you kind of forget where you've been, where you've gotten to. And then the clothes, you'll start feeling clothes. Usually that's a great sign. You start feeling your clothes. So even if the scale doesn't change, you might have other things that you've noticed. Try to find some support system. If you don't have friends or family that support this lifestyle, it can make it challenging. But there's some online groups. I've got my Potato Strong Facebook page, and there's also like McDougall Friends, which is a good one. And there's other ones that are, depending on what specific lifestyle you're doing, the group will change. But you want to get into a supportive group, and you can have some accountability. You can post what you eat and get some feedback from people. And McDougall has a forum, Dr. McDougall, where you can post weigh-ins and stuff like that. So if you need that accountability, that can really, really help. One of the other things that's really important when you're on especially a plant-based diet, is to make sure you eat enough food, because the food in general is a lot less calorie dense. So one of the mistakes that people make when they do something like a plant-based diet, there's lots of variations. You've got, Dr. Furman, Dr. Greger, Dr. McDougall, Neil Bernard, all the different approaches. One of the issues is when people get really excited about going plant-based, they might try to eat like a big salad or one banana, or they might eat vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and stuff like that, carrots, celery. And those things are very, very low in calories. So, you might think it's great that you're eating low calorie and trying to lose weight, but you really need to get enough calories and to be satiated. What I try to do is eat 3 main meals a day. I do snack on occasion, but I really try to eat 3 filling meals a day, and those will last for hours. I've had people that eat like half a cup of oatmeal and they're hungry an hour or two later, and I'm like, well, half a cup is like 180 calories. It's not enough, you know. And so um, the portions are going to be a lot bigger than you're used to in most cases. And one really important thing that I found, like based on the fact that I like Starch Solution the best, one of the really key things is understanding that starches, what they are, and the fact that they have more calories than non-starchy vegetables. So the starches are things like potatoes, beans, oats, like oatmeal, pasta, bread. There's other ones. There's all sorts of ones. If you don't like potatoes, there's other things that you can have, other starches. So the meals are kind of the calories. The majority of the calories come from starches, and then you have non-starchy veggies, and then there's some fruit. And so if you're eating a starch-based diet, or even other ones that have like beans that allow beans and stuff like that, in my case, I prefer to have a lot of my calories from starches. So it's just important to understand the difference between the starchy vegetables and non-starchy. That's really important because the greens and that aren't going to really fill you up. And unless, people that eat a low non-starchy calories, they're going to, like non-starchy vegetables, they're going to use oils or potentially fats, like nuts and seeds, to get the calories. So that's just something to keep in mind because a lot of people get really hungry and they fail on a vegan diet. So that's a really important one. And another thing that I want to talk about, probably last point here, is exercise. It can be a bit of a tricky situation to cover all different scenarios, but my experience has been that the majority of the results are going to come from the diet, what you're eating. Because if you're going from a standard American diet or something like that to a plant-based diet, you're going to naturally generally eat a lot less calories because the food is less calorie dense. And so the other thing is, if people are hundreds of pounds overweight, if you're in that scenario, it can be very hard on your joints to try to do an exercise program. And a lot of people, they're suffering, they're on the treadmill and they're not having fun. And it's not something that they're going to really sustain. They might get excited in January with New Year's resolution, but they're not going to sustain it. So, exercise, you don't have to worry about it too much, but if you can and you like maybe taking a walk, that's great. Depending on your weight situation, anything you can do to move around is going to help. If you can take a walk, that's great. If you like sports or some type of other activity, just do things that you enjoy. But like I say, the majority of the benefits are going to come from, of the weight loss especially, and even health benefits are going to come from the diet. So, and the other thing I've noticed sometimes is if I really exert myself, like on a treadmill or run or something like that, which I don't do much of, it might blunt your appetite briefly, like right after your exercise, but I find that I get ravenous. So sometimes, like I know people that have said they to train for a marathon and they haven't lost weight or something like that. It's still a matter of calories in and out. If you burn like 500 or 1,000 calories extra per day exercising, running, or cycling, you may end up eating somewhere in that range as well to fuel your muscles and provide the energy that you need. So there's a balance there. And a lot of the people like Dr. McDougall and Jeff Novick, who's a registered dietitian who works with Dr. McDougall, and a lot of other people, they recommend, there could be a variance, half an hour a day, it could be more than that, of some type of exercise. And you don't have to go crazy with it, especially at first. And as you lose weight and you get leaner, you might discover that you have a lot of energy and you get motivated to do something. But it's not something to be totally obsessed about and go crazy with, because a lot of people will think, they join a gym and they got to go hard. And, I personally, after a little while, I started doing body weight exercises, and I like taking walks. I've shown before this desk cycle that I use when I'm just under a desk. I can pedal or even on the couch. Just low intensity, nothing crazy most of the time. There's a way you can up the resistance if you want, and depending on if you're working, you don't probably want to get a sweat going, so it's nice to just pedal at a slow intensity. But yeah, there's just no end to the types of exercise you can do. But those are some quick tips for you guys, and I hope that you guys, if you're new to this, that you really check out my channel and some of the ones that I've mentioned, and find a good group of people. Like, I'm on Instagram, and it's really fun. You're seeing other people eating the same types of foods, especially if you don't have anybody at home that supports you. So it's a really fun group. It's the meals that I have, the recipes on my website, like I mentioned, and then the recipe guide are super tasty, and I really love the food. And so don't worry about the food that you can't eat anymore. Don't think about it that way. Think about all the new amazing discoveries you're going to make. Like, I've been discovering beans and things that I've never, like legumes and beans. All these foods, cauliflower, like, going to make my wings. All the different things you can make, desserts with various things, dates and guacamole, like avocado and stuff. Just amazing things that I've never had really before, and cooking a lot more and really enjoying it. So it's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys will have a lot of success with this lifestyle. And if you're new, if you're doing this already and you just need some tweaks, hopefully this will help you guys. So happy New Year again, and look forward to some more videos in the future. See you guys.